And after China released its 2023 edition of the standard map, including areas of Arunachal Pradesh, Taiwan, now this is a CNN News 18 exclusive news break. Now, top government sources have told CNN News 18 that the claims by China are baseless and that China is frustrated and is trying its best to do all sort of propaganda. And this new release just within a week after meeting Prime Minister Modi and week before Chinese President Xi Jinping's arrival for G20 suggests their intentions. And the top government sources also suggest that the world knows that they are expansionist and occupied territories in the world illegally. Now, we are being joined by CNN News 18's Abhishek Jha. Abhishek, so this big update coming in after China released the 2023 edition of its standard map. Now, top government sources claim that the claims by China are all baseless.
Of course, and we have seen China doing it in past also, where the Chinese government and their publications have always claimed that Arunachal Pradesh as part of southern Tibet, to which China has tried to create its sovereignty over Tibet. Tibetans are still fighting for their own autonomous region. But also we have to see that China has been an expansionist in nature, and it is not just with India. Wherever Chinese territory passes along, or it has a neighborhood, almost in every neighborhood in China are facing Chinese expansionist and aggressive posturing, be it in South China Sea, where Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Philippines, they have objected to China's aggressive maritime domain expansion. From Japan, we have seen Senkaku Island, which is a disputed territory. China claims that it's a disputed territory, though it is under control of Japan. On the issue of Taiwan, we have always seen how China has been aggressive, and in the recent last 1 year, it has been doing live drills and aggressive navy and military posturing, and integrating Taiwan to the Chinese mainland is a dream of every Chinese, or at least the Communist Party of China. With India also, we have seen how 2020's Galwan clash has deepened the rift between the two nations. We have not been talking almost not in talking terms with each other. The External Affairs Minister S. Shankar has time and again underlined the fact the normalcy in the ties between India and China cannot be achieved unless and until there is a peace and tranquility on the border areas. Despite all this, there is a still stance when China has come out with this map which claims Arunachal as part of its own territory, Aksai Chin as part of its own territory, which is clearly in objection of Ministry of External Affairs earlier comments, and this time also we can assume that government will come out refuting Chinese allegations and claims on the Indian sovereign territory.
Also, Abhishek, what is also interesting to note is the timing of the release of this 2023 edition of the China standard map, because this comes within a week of Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping's meeting, and also a week before Xi Jinping's arrival for the G20 summit.
Well, it looks like China does not consider G20 as an opportunity where it wants to have a cordial conversation with all the leaders of the world, especially India, the host country, with which Chinese President Xi Jinping just had a conversation where Chinese authorities claim that they had an in-depth and candid conversation in Johannesburg, and it encompassed all aspects of bilateral relationship. And also India said that Prime Minister Modi did flag up the issue of border tension and how it has been impacting our normal ties. Despite all that, it doesn't look like Chinese side have budged, and they are still on with their own propaganda, where they have started now claiming Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh also as part of their own territory officially, because the map has been released by the Ministry of Natural Resources, and the map, it says the chief planner of the ministry has said that surveying, mapping and geographic information play an important role in boosting the development of the nation. So on the pretext of creating a document or a geographical detailing so that the development works in those territories can be performed by the Chinese authorities, they are coming out with maps which are in clear violation of the sovereignty of other nations, especially those sitting on the neighborhood of China.
Right, Abhishek. Also, Right after the meeting of Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping, China had released a statement stating all the measures that could be taken to maintain peace on the border between India and China. But on the other hand, these are the double standards of China, that on the other hand, they are doing all sort of, they are making all sort of moves to provoke India. And on the other hand, they are releasing statements on maintaining peace at the border.
Well, and this is what the deep distrust that India and China have developed over the years says, because China, in the latest meeting also, China has said that Chinese president underlined the fact that both the sides should handle properly the overall border dispute system, and they should jointly handle the border dispute or the differences at the border. So Chinese intention has been that the border dispute should be put at an appropriate place in the bilateral relationship, and other aspects of the bilateral dynamic should continue to go on as usual. However, India, knowing well Chinese intention, they have stuck with their demand that there should be complete disengagement and de-escalation, and until and unless that happens, there cannot be normalcy in the bilateral ties. Because the way Chinese posturing and Chinese expansionist agenda goes on, they continue to come out with certain territorial claim in other nations' territory, other nations' sovereignty. Arunachal Pradesh has been part of India, and it is not a disputed territory. But we have in the recent past also seen several times Chinese government authorities coming out with renaming of certain villages in Arunachal Pradesh. However, the revenue collection from that villages or those territory continues to come into the Indian exchequers, and these territories are very much part of India. So while China continues to be very much in conflict or in dispute in Western Ladakh sector, they are also trying to open up new theaters of conflict and disputes, and that is very much part of their bigger game of being expansionist and covering as much territory in their neighborhood as they could. Arunachal Pradesh falls into that larger game of Chinese expansionist agenda, while India has continued to be very much steadfast in its demand that there should be de-escalation and disengagement, and probably that would be the conducive space where India and China can have bilateral relationship as normal as it used to be before Galwan clashes.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. Thank you so much for giving us that context on this story, where there is another provocation bid by China by releasing a standard map which includes parts of Himachal Pradesh as well as Aksai Chin. Well, we're